I think we're going live. We're gonna say we're going live. A high in here? A high. Hey. That was quick. Good old-fashioned bendable build plates. Okay, ready for another print? See, this is probably not going to like this print surface. We'll give it a shot anyway. Realize it's probably really low. Hello. Okay. Oop. Well, we'll see if it wants to print. Usually, things that don't have much surface area but are tall don't like this surface too much. Okay. Don the protective earwear. It protects me from myself. Okay, a little bit of music never hurt anybody. I don't have an artist in mind here. We're just gonna play that. I don't know what that is, but we're gonna play it. Hey, what you want? Barrett. Yeah, you can lick me. Okay. Oh, don't be doing this again. I have a screen that is flickering like almighty hell. I don't know what causes it. Might be a flimsy cable. I have to try another one then. Okay. It's gonna get annoying. Where's the data cable? So wiggle it and make sure it's not the cable. Nope, still flickering. I don't know, I'll have to figure that out. So, where were we? How's it going? I'm almost out of my delicious Red Bull. Which I would never normally say, but that's actually a good flavor. The coconut berry one. What I should do. I don't know if I can change my mode. No, I can't. Okay, manual focus it is. Oh, you can see the reflection of this monitor. Oh, it's just flickering and flickering and flickering. Oh, see it? Well, that's a gaming monitor for you. You overclock them and sometimes this stuff happens. Oddly enough, this stopped doing this for a while too. Wonder if maybe a driver update screwed with me. Okay, so where were we? Krita. Krita! It's gonna open in the other window, the other monitor. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 monitors. So, no, wait, the hell? The hell is my keyboard stuck on? Oh. Gonna complain until I open something, so let me actually open this. There we go. Okay. Oh wow, does it have to flicker so much? Okay, so that's right, we flat painted everything. What I need to do now is do the husky thing. What was that? That work? That was work. Hold up. Oh, something I can just answer with an email. Give me a second. I'm on call, so this has to happen. Okay. We'll see if that comes back. Eh. Let's get our nice little glove going. The single Michael Jackson glove. I wish it wasn't just ever so slightly too small. It makes it fit very nice and tight, but it's pulling on the tips of my fingers, which eventually makes them go numb. Aha! Don't put this in your lap. Put it back where it belongs. How am I? I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I have another ferret free roaming on a bed. Or kid. They have learned how to climb onto the bed. I don't know if you can see her. What are you doing? Can you see the door? No, you can't see the door. The door's wobbling too because one of them likes to push the door. Guys are a nuisance. She knows I'm gonna pick her up. She's like, nope, I'm exploring. Screw that. So, husky, husky, husky. I got to do the husky thing. Which means Adrian has to have his fur. We need to take groups, make a new layer. For now, we're just gonna put that one layer in. And now I can just do it over and over. So we make a new raster layer. We're gonna put it underneath the hair layer so we can't paint hair. Do I have an otter? I wish I had an otter. I seriously wish I did. They are more maintenance than you would believe, though. And I'm not saying that that's the reason that I wouldn't have an otter, but they're hard to get a hold of because people want to make sure, absolutely, that you will take care of them. I have the yard and everything for one, though. They do actually want to go outside and spend time outside. So ferrets want out of their cage to roam around and explore, or they go stir crazy. Same goes for otters. They just need a bigger outside, and their cage is kind of the house. Okay, so trying to think about how this goes. First of all, are we still on our simple brush? No. That is a size-based brush. It's not terrible. There's our simple brush. Yeah! So, let's pick our base color here, and then, well, we can do it over here, I guess, since this is larger. I think about it, I can expand all of this. Okay, so we have our bluish, very, very light blue, but bluish. Why is it not showing it? What the hell is happening? This screen is flickering like crazy now. We're just gonna say it's a rave. It's gotta be the custom G-Sync module that I put in it way long ago. No. Well, we need to get something like this, a really darkish, not quite so saturated, right about there. It's very gray, not that gray. There we go, perfect. Let's make it a little more silver. More silver. It's a very light background, so it's going to be a little weird. What we have... Nope, not that. That one, yeah. I actually kind of might want to do this one, so I can control the size. But what we have here, effectively... I can do this and then I can erase, I guess. That might make things easier. But Huskies have kind of a weird pattern where over the eyes, they tend to be... Okay, let's do the solid one just to get it blocked out. Over the eyes tend to be covered. We're going to cover the entirety of the eye. And then that typically blends in, so it's something like this. Typically have a blend coming in off of the cheek that then connects in and goes up and then over. You can try doing it here as well. We'll paint that in. Again, I'm just going to erase little bits here. Right, and then towards the edges you have, that's a little weird, but whoa, is it painting pillow? Oh, because I did not set alpha lock on that. That would help. You know what it is? I keep missing chat because it's not actually updating. This screen is definitely dead then. Damn it! Damn it! On the plus side, I can move my my camera down where the monitor is when I get rid of it. So let's see. Let me use this one that I can actually read. Ferrets are cute. Yes, the ferrets are insanely cute. Oh wow, it's like seizure mode. Ferrets are insanely cute. I love my ferrets. They're very explorative too. And having a husky, very cool. I like huskies. Lots of huskies named Cody. I don't know if that's a thing for a reason. Right, so most huskies have this pattern going up their neck and all kinds of stuff. In this case, so this is going to go Gonna be a little weird shaped here for a second until I start erasing. But I'm just gonna use the sized brush. I'm gonna do a very typical pattern. Right, then you get the neck pattern. Neck pattern's a fun one. Draw at any point here. There we go. Right, so typically goes down. So you end up having it typically on the actual chest. It goes around the front of their arm, which kind of works out because Adrian had this kind of tattoo on his shoulder. So we're gonna say it kind of goes just like his tattoo. Probably should increase the size of this brush because I'm doing this weird. That would be at a higher angle. Come on! You can do it! You can do it, erase, please! It's like a Mike Tyson kind of thing going on, but that's how it was. In reality, that actually needs to move too. Let me move it. Where are my actual selector tools? Oh, they moved them. That's good to know. So you can do that, and then go to the, where's the move tool? It's up here, isn't it? Nope, not that one. That's the vector tool. There we go. That'd actually have to be more like there. It went down over his what, that's a peck. Okay, so I don't know what deselect is, so I'm just gonna do, find it. Select, deselect is Control-Shift-A, that's right. It uses Linux standards. Now we can hit B for brush, go back to where we were. I'm gonna blend this up and in. What the hell is going on with this fucking screen? Yes, so we're gonna do that. And that's basically gonna run down his arm. About here. Curve it down. That's pretty abysmal. We're just gonna redo that whole thing. Okay. Okay, so we got that. More or less, I'm envisioning it's all going to be effectively just going through. Or less just a little bit of splotching on the back of the hand, just to make it nice. In reality, that actually needs to move. I'm gonna go more like this. Just inventing design here. Oh, I had a slight delay actually because, well, partially my screen was going crazy on me here, but I actually had a little bit of an issue with my PC. It got hung up doing an update, and I had to actually recover from the update. So we got that. And on the other side, we're not going to really make a big deal about the other side because we only have the tattoo on the one. So we're going to go, hey. Just going to go over. I guess you can't see it anyway, but I'm just underneath. You wouldn't see anything. Like there just wouldn't be anything underneath that. A minimal size that I can get on this. Yeah. They always had that little bit of patchiness, so I'm gonna say, what the hell? It's freaking out hardcore now. Give me a second, let me unplug this thing and see if that helps. Considering I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 monitors hooked up, technically, I have a VR headset that technically counts as a monitor. Wow. Yeah, my mouse input just slowed way the hell down. It must have been doing something in the background. I think my graphics driver freaked out because I had too many things plugged in. Maybe? Maybe? Okay, hold up. Screwed up all of my displays. One sec. Looks like I'm back in business. Yes! Okay, I'm not flickering for now. We're gonna say maybe it's good. Maybe. Okay, so, where was I? Right, the scruffiness! Yeah! A little bit of scruff is not a bad thing. We're gonna say it trims his face. Some of that's just not playing too nice. I don't know why. I wonder if I should connect all the way through. Yeah, I kind of like that actually. Oh, deja vu! I decided that I wanted to go full initial D on me here, but I'm enjoying it. Okay, so we got that. And I would say we kind of need to be inside here now. Almost want to go back to this guy. We're gonna make that go down our side. All kinds of little weird errors here and there. I don't know why. But so that's gonna go down. Oh, that was weird. We're gonna say it goes there. And we're gonna have the husky top connect it there, and I guess I'm gonna have to actually blend it in. Do I want to do a layering? I could do layering and have a lighter color as well, a darker and a lighter. I like it like that. Real simple coloring. I mean, huskies are not terribly weird. But you do have something nice we can do there. Yep. We're going to say good start. You are the best, I love you, slight homo. I won't say no homo. But no homo. Where were we? This is strange. The name of the song is No Mercy. This is a retarded song. That gets a like. It's so weird. Okay, so we have all these nice little layers. Let me move the boxers and all down too. That needs to go above that, under that. Gotcha. Okay, so stop it. There we go. Yep, looks good. Doesn't go through? Cool. Okay, so we're gonna turn that back on, good to go. What we need to do now is paint. So I don't know how I want to do this in this program. There's a bunch of options here. So what I can do is kind of what I've been doing, where I can't paint outside the lines, and I'm just painting, you know, shadows, highlights, etc. Let me see, when I go to my painting set, ink, here we go. So we need textures? No, that's actual hardcore textures. I'm just going to do favorites. Because I know some exist! So, we have blendy brushes. Now I'm going to put a new layer. How do we want to start this? We'll start with Adrian. And start with his fur layer. So what we do is we add a new layer on top of that. We alpha lock it. I don't know, you can't really see kind of some of the layer work I'm doing. Apologize for that. Maybe I should move this to the other side. And consider that I draw left-handed too. Maybe? Okay, so we have our shadowing layer. What we can do with this layer is paint, right? We can do whatever we want. But, if I have it right, I think I can set it here. It has to be under tool options. There's a way to tell it to sample from all layers. The reason that that's important is stream lag. Ah! That's just putting paint down, but what I really want to do is I want to smudge between layers. So how do I make this tool do it? Do I have to go to my actual tool options? Possibly. We have color rate, scatter, we have overlays. How do I make this pick up from all layers? I know there's a way to do it because I've done this before. What I may have to do is actually clone layers. That's not cool. It used to be under tool options that you could tell it that you wanted this to actually pick up from all layers, but I guess they got rid of that for some reason. of that nice little gem. No, we should be able to take this, the wet smudger. Effectively, it picks up the color below it. Or it should anyway. Let's see, if we pick a radical color here, we should be able to figure out if it's working. Yeah, it's not picking up the color. When it works correctly, the mine turtle. Strange. Let's see, we might actually have to do it. Let me just search real quick. Someone will have logged this, because I know this is a thing. My mouse, there's my mouse. Mixing colors. So I'm seeing all this nice stuff, but we have all kinds of color mixing. We have all kinds of fun little things, but I'm not seeing the way of mixing between layers. We're just not gonna get it. Clone Brush Engine. I think that's the engine that this uses. Clone from all visible layers. So it says it's actually a dedicated tool, but we can take a look. Colorize mask tool.
like it. So if I go to the tool options on this, right, it says color smudge engine. So no, this is a different kind of engine then. I don't know. This might not be very fun. What I could try doing is just painting directly. First, let's try no base layer. Nope, not working. So if I go to a different layer, like say this one. Yeah, it's trying to blend. Come on. That's not actually picking up. Interesting. Ah, that is working on all layers. So smudge tools and all that do actually work. Interesting. Doesn't work there, it does work on an actual hard paint layer. Let's try something a little less saturated. You see how it's pushing the color around? That's what I want it to do. Okay, I'm just gonna have to paint directly. So what we should do is delete that layer. What we'll do is we'll make a clone of layers that we're actually working on. Okay, so we can make a duplicate, and then we can, merge with the layer below, and now we actually have that to work with. But I can now paint on top of this, and it wouldn't affect anything. Now, sensitivity of this is a little weird. So that's just a basic paintbrush. I don't think these are actually the brushes I used to have set. I don't even want to know what those brushes are. Okay, so we have like a palette knife. That's cool. That's not a bad one. That's a good blender. That's just a straight up hardcore blender brush. What the hell is that? Got a weird brush there. We have just a wet brush, no actual color applied to it. That's actually really nice to have. Go back to my favorites. Looks like I had the better ones there. They have a hard edge. Not really playing well. It kind of blends, it just takes a little effort. And the soft one, which definitely blends.
Okay, we can do something with that. Oh. Okay.
So, we got this. What we need to kind of do is... we can paint with color, or we can paint a type of layer. Now, if we did like a luminosity layer, we could actually paint darkness. The darkness! It's weird.
Well, we're going to keep it on normal, and we're going to paint directly on top. So we're literally going to start doing things like... we're going to sample this.
We're going to pick a darker variant that's less saturated.
So the overall for this entire scene needs to be dimmer, darker in general. The whole thing's kind of warm. Characters are on the cooler side, which means warm shadows would fit.
So, we can do exactly that. So we have that same color picked. We can make it on the warm side. So it was on this end, we'll make it the exact opposite. Keep it desaturated. And then we darken the shit out of it.
Right?
Come on! Stop it! Am I missing something? If I make that alpha locked? Nope, there it goes. Just took a second. What is it freaking out over? What the hell is happening? No, unlock it. Oh, it's only on the alpha of the layer under it, so that is legitimately going to be weird. I'm very confused by the music playing right now. Damn, this is not playing well with me. Let's make it normal again. Now, we should be able to do what we want.
Okay. Ace lightning!
So, what we have to do here, we're going to have large, soft shadows, and we're going to have sharper shadows at the same time. Now, how do you make it? I'm just going to make a mask. I'm going to... select opaque. There's our guy there. We have a selection on our opaque, and we can now take this and go. Well, that's not what I wanted. I don't want to convert the layer itself. I want to add. Well, do I have one here? Ah, there we go. Add transparency mask. Cool. So I can now do Control A, yeah, and unselect. Now I can't. Now I can't paint outside the lines, more or less. Makes things easier. So what I get to do here with my darkness is I get to paint these shadows in. Blending a little hardcore. Doing some weird stuff. Well, we're gonna do this. We're gonna select this again. We're gonna go back. Warm color. Darker. There we go. So we can blend in our shadow here. So we're gonna have a couple of basic shadows. One that we're gonna have definitely. Okay, I'm still using the blend brush, which I should not be doing. I should be using this guy. Set to a low opacity. We can do an airbrush. That always works. But, well, let's do the blend brush. We can do it with the blend brush. We just have to be careful on our edges. So, we have a peck and a peck, which means we technically need to have that filled out. We can do our color select again and get this. This looks unnaturally dark. Okay, we'll keep it sharp and good. So, part of that is we actually need to make where's my color? That there. So, we actually need to make this. We'll do it the hard way, I guess. Let's see, what else do we need? So we're gonna need this to have a shadow to it. I don't want it to be wetter. That's kind of my problem here, is that it's not blending with the other color because it's just kind of not there. What I almost want to do is just make a layer that I can put on top. Might just want to do. Oh yeah. So we can do that. We can make it a normal. Let's say a multiply layer. That's really not the one we should be using, but we'll keep it that way for now. Guess I can erase. Yeah, I can erase because it's that layer. Kind of need to do is just blend this better. There we go. We can put a little bit dark there, all the fingers and the hands. Okay, we're gonna have a little bit coming down from the pelvis itself. Super thin blend. We're not gonna make a big deal out of it. We got crevice right here. Be careful, because that is another area. So, light source is a weird one. We do have to have a light source at some point. I'm going to say, just for the sake of it, it's coming from the lamp. Okay. Keep in mind, these are all light shadows. We're going to come back over to these with a darker.
Okay, that's decent. Kinda, maybe, sorta. Right, so that's a pretty good basic set of shadows. By basic, I mean basic. So we get to come back and actually darken those in a bit. But when we come to do that, we're actually going to comp everything down. Let's do a multiply that goes above the hair. This one's gonna have to be a different color. We're gonna pick it very warm. We're gonna make it extra warm. About there. We're gonna desaturate it and darken it at the same time. There we go. Sorta, kinda, maybe. Okay, so we're gonna do this next. New layer. This one's, again, a little weird. So it's on this end. We're gonna make it a direct opposite. And again, we're gonna desaturate it. So saturation's on this end, lightness and darkness. So effectively, we want to darken slightly, but then we want to, you can kind of see it. You want to darken slightly, so move that way. but then also move a little towards generally the opposite. We're gonna say right there. Yeah, that looks perfect. We're gonna come and do some better details there, but again, I like to have this nice harder line on the far edge and then let it bleed down. That's because they're close together right here, so it's gonna be more natural shadowing. Gonna have a slight shadow on the underside of that lip. Very faint shadow here. Now obviously we need to shrink this down to fit in there, but effectively you get this little tiny shadow going here. We're not going to stress shadows and all that too much again. I'm just kind of... Hey, it's lightning! I finally showed up, did it? But I'm just gonna kind of come and fix this up some. I'm not going for super realistic here. You back? Ouch! There we go. And it looks decent, looks okay. What happened to my Twitter? Did I do something to my Twitter? Let's take a look. If it even has any of my login info. I rarely touch my Twitter. I don't know. My Twitter's not there anymore. I probably changed my actual Twitter address. It's gonna be this. If you like my play on words, then enjoy that. Who is this band? Oh, this is Kenesh Corp. I thought it sounded right. Okay, so we're gonna go back down to this layer here. We're gonna do some finer details. You know what, it would help if I had the right color for this. So we need the general color of the fur. I'm going to swap it around, make it warm but not too warm. Give it that nice polysaturated tone. The key is you actually don't need to get very dark. You just need to put contrast. So putting down these sharp lines makes it look like there's a dark shadow there when it's actually not that dark of a color. Then you blend it where you want it to actually not seem so dark. The hard edge makes it look, you know, like there's a discrete shadow. Is Carbon a boy? Good question. Sure. Why not? Typically, that's how Carbon's portrayed, but can be both. According to lore, Carbon was born a girl and then immediately swapped to a boy for reasons. Ah! So we can do stuff like this with the hard shadows, by the way. You do the hard shadow and blend it. I just completely screwed that up, so let me undo it. You blend it down to get softer as you get towards a source of light. So it makes it seem like the shadow's getting sharper by way of getting closer. So when you make a shadow, right? I can't see it on black, I guess. But when you make a shadow, the closer you get to the surface, the more light has to fight to get in between the surface, and thus the sharper and darker your shadows. So to simulate that, you go sharp and then soft, and it goes, oh, okay, so the hair there in that case is coming off of the head as it gets further away. We can do stuff like put a dark line there on the one side of the nose and blend it in. Da-da-da. It is true, I just died. Shit. Shit! Why? Gods, why? What have I done?
Okay, so we're gonna put a little tiny dimple there of light.
Animated occlusion, you learn that stuff.
I just dabbed. No! As howled about dabbing.
Okay. That's not too shabby.
Now this is where we get a little weird. We have a discrete shadow on this edge, and again, you kind of have to blend it out. A little hard to do. I really need to make this a little darker.
What I eventually do is I just build up the dark, the dark, the dark. Just go darker and darker and darker, and then when you start doing highlights, highlights are a whole different beast. I usually don't do them too well. That's a hard thing with fur, especially. I'm not even wanting to think about that. I guess you can make little shiny bits, but I haven't really gotten that far yet. I'm starting with pure colors, so I don't have to. I can darken the pure colors because in their super saturated unlit state, like this whole scene is unlit. All I really have to do is put shadow because it's going to be a darker scene. But that was harsh the whole way. That just looks horrible. Oh shit. What was I doing? In some cases it pays just to use smudgers. Horrible. I need a smudger. I don't necessarily want that. I want a smudge. I can just go lighter and make it work. Art is beautiful, thank you. That's a weird one. So you got an Adam's apple, which I should actually paint in, but that's again another really weird one to paint.
Okay. Work our way this way. Put that slightly darker color there. Our brush bigger. Whoop. Oh. Let's see, they're in close proximity to each other, so I want that to be really sharp right here. Because that close proximity is a direct shadow that's right on them. Little tiny things that add up. Okay, let's go smaller here. I'm just gonna rough out the shadows on the hands. I'm not going crazy. Alright. Should technically put a tiny shadow here. Really, I guess I should just make it light. For ambient occlusion. So ambient occlusion is, if you look at the corners, like the high up corners especially of a room, you tend to notice that there's shadows that accumulate towards the corners. What's really happening, like the physics of light, is that as you get towards the corner, the actual, I guess, let me do it this one. So as you get towards the corner, light bounces and has a hard time getting in the corner. So the closer you get to the corner, the more you have to have a direct ray of light hitting the corner to light the corner. So most light is going to hit and bounce and never actually touch the corner. The lack of light makes shadows. Well, that happens with everything. So when you get close to a surface, you put your hand close to your other hand even, you notice less light can get through and you start seeing, it's not really a shadow, but you're seeing just darkness. That's ambient occlusion. That's something people forget about all the time. These, oh, what's happening? So these are in close proximity. The hands are in close proximity, so a small amount of shadow is going to blend between the two of them. Ever so slight amount. Now in a brighter environment, you're actually going to have some light reflecting off because this is a lighter surface here. That will actually reflect a little bit of light and lighten this area. This is kind of neutral, that's dark, so you wouldn't see it there. But little tiny things about light that you learn when you're in school. I am absolutely horrible at doing basic rendering like this unless the entire thing is paint. I wanted just to make sure that I had something that was colorful and vibrant. I did flat color for this one, but if I really cared about making something painted, I would actually make it a solid painting, like one layer solid painting. Maybe line art on its own layer, like a basic drawn line art, but that would more or less just be accents. But in this case, I'm just putting down shadows, maybe a couple of highlights here and there, and the goal is to make it so it just has shape. Because right now, like if you look at myself at Carbon here, everything is flat, just looks flat. But I can make it so that it looks more rounded by building up these surfaces, and it looks very sketchy, and that's kind of all I'm really going for. The sketching just kind of helps to make it look almost like fur, and I can come back and actually blend it with a fur-shaped blending brush. So we can make that work. Now in this case, we're going to have this hard corner here. We're gonna blend down at the bottom. Because it starts opening up at the bottom. Again, we have a shadow coming in here, so we're gonna have a little bit of ambient occlusion here. But more or less, we're gonna have a hard shadow starting there. We want to blend it as it goes out. And I'm exaggerating the shadows, but this is because I'm going to put like a gradient on top of everything that darkens the whole scene when I'm done. So it's actually going to look a little bit more appropriate when I get all the super bright parts not so bright. I think I remember how to do adjustments for images too, like color adjustment layers, so we can see if I can do it that way. If not, I'll just paint it. So here we're going to have similar... like the hardness of that.
Fingers trace your skin, all your cliffs and peaks, and your hair, it flows like water.
I'm not going crazy on anything like abs, but you put a little bit of irregularity and you can kind of hint at them. Okay, so we have the bottom of the rib cage right there. Right here. Then we have kind of some ab lines, and it's not really... I'm not gonna go into crazy anatomy. Again, not what I'm aiming for in all of this. Let's see. So we go back here. We have the pit of the chest, which is going to be more on this side too. Kind of just soft blend that whole thing. Your pec actually comes down from your shoulder almost, like it blends from the muscle of your shoulder here down into the pec, so it's actually kind of shaped like a sack. Technically I should be shadowing all, I should be actually increasing my brush size for that, but technically I should be shadowing all the way up here, but I don't want to over exaggerate it.
Tears, they flow like waterfalls, and I don't think they should. Yeah, it's okay to smile.
So, a little bit of ambient occlusion happening here. Ever so slight amount. Kind of like the way this arm goes, and it's exposed, so I really just need to extend that shadow. Keep it nice and hard like that, because it shows off kind of the bone that's actually there. Make that super easy. Okay, so we're gonna say that's good. Okay, let's move to the hand here. We're gonna have a smaller brush. Steam message, yay! Damn! Tart and delicious to the very end. Gotta twist my can because I'm almost out of space in my trash can. Okay, so where was I? Here. We need to put some blending on that, make the nail darker in general. And we can blend in, make it soft around the knuckle because the knuckle is round, but then the back of the finger needs to be a little more of a rough bit there. Hint that it's actually like a hard transition. Hands are always hard for people to draw because hands, oddly enough, are very delicate. They have all kinds of little tiny things that people try to render. Like, they try to just draw the outlines of everything and lines everywhere and lines and lines and lines. And if you actually look at your hand, it's nothing but wrinkles because there's lots and lots and lots of bending and articulation and all that. So you see all those and it distracts you when you're doing the line art. If you actually go and paint shadows and whatnot, you can simplify your hands surprisingly tons. Hands are actually very, very simple as forms because when you take all the extra detail out and you just kind of look at it, it's just a bunch of really soft curves. And when you start putting those curves in as shadows and highlights, you kind of can see the shape of the hand without the wrinkles and all. And that, it just immediately looks 1,000 times more like a hand. So people that are like, I can't draw a good hand. No, you probably actually drew a really good silhouette for a hand and you just, it has no definition, no three-dimensional definition. When you shade it, typically a hand looks way better. We're gonna hard shadow that outward. Put a harder shadow down here for the hand. Hard shadow it. So that finger is a little off the surface, so we're just going to kind of blur around it. We have a little bit of ambient occlusion here. Slightest amount. Now this side gets nothing but shadow. Lots and lots and lots of shadows. There we go. Okay, so what's left? We have tail here. So this, it's the beautiful super shadow. Then we get hard shadows. That's really all this needs is extra hard shadows. So you want to blend that hard shadow into the rest of the tail because the rest of the tail is just a shape. Maybe a hard-ish shadow there and then we blend it out. But you want to hint at the roundedness of the tufts and not much else. So if I make the shadow go all the way up, it just looks like one big chunk of hair when you want it to blend into a bigger tail. It's a little hard to get that kind of stuff done. I'm gonna even say that's pretty hard to do. A tail, that's hard to do. Okay, here we have the ability to just kind of sub shadow.
Oh, I forgot to mention, because this is at that angle from the lamp, I need to make the shadow come down a little more than just over. I don't know if that makes any sense. Okay, so that's one down. Now, it doesn't, again, quite look right until I put a wash over the entire thing. Secondary to that, there are potentially going to be highlights that are necessary, but I'd have to put the wash over it first. I'm going to get the general shadows for Carbon next.
So I don't screw things up, let's collapse that. So we're going to do on top of this layer a multiply. Again, you shouldn't use multiply. In Krita, there's actually a better option. I just don't remember what. See, these are all the ones that are unchecked. There's a whole bunch of really cool ones. I know that Gamma Dark is a good one for just actually darkening things. I don't remember which one it is. I'll have to look up which one I use. I actually have KRA files out there on my hard drive that a bunch of them are set up that way. I discovered there's one method that it's like multiply where it combines the number set. So if you have one color, another color, multiply literally takes their values and multiplies them together. It uses the layers as a multiplier. Well, there's one that does it, but it skews it for the saturation and brightness and not for color. So color gets multiplied a ton less, which means you can very easily get the colors to match the way you want. And you can go like, I'm going really desaturated here. You can go completely saturated and paint and get really nice shadows without having to worry about over coloring your scene. Okay. So, on this layer, we're going to use this as our base, I guess. Well, this is the same color, effectively, so we can do that. So, like it should be, it's very greenish. Proper counter shadow would be a bluish shadow, but I want to stay on the warmer side, so we're going to go with this. Actually, that's violet right there, so we'll go with violet. Probably we want super light, but slightly saturated. Yeah, that's a good shadow right there. Maybe a little cooler. Yeah. So, we have that. We need to increase our size here. We're going to do our basic roughs. So, lighting is coming down. What we need to do here is... I was wondering about that. It's still not quite dark enough. We can just take it really light and easy if we have to, but I'm probably going to have to go through multiple colors. A little less on the actual saturation there would be nice. Yeah, that's close. Perfect. Okay. So let's get the basics down. We've got everything on one layer, so hair is going to be a little bit of a mess, etc. Is that actually... Got the multiply version. I don't know if I actually want to multiply layer on that. I actually want to lighten up on that layer. Man, see, I can block out a body like you wouldn't believe. I know the general shape of a human body, the general shape, but only the general shape. The details I am still really fuzzy on. I need to just do enough painting. I put it away. I have all kinds of anatomy books and stuff that will help with that. But again, not my goal. My goal here is to make a nice general piece. Just get myself back into practice. So, you got the hips sticking out, so that's going to be a little brighter than the rest, and I'm going to do a soft fade into that. You got the rib cage. You got the pec here. We can definitely light the pec, and that again comes down from the arm. Light the pec, light the inner cuff. Got the underside of the arm that's going to have some shadow to it. And again, it's going to have to be soft because the arm's not actually right on itself until about here. To actually go darker there, because it's just not... There we go. I need is to zoom in. Ah! Let's get rid of some of that extra bit there. Okay, we have the back side of this muscle here. God help me if I ever have to actually name muscles. I'm done with that class. I don't ever want to do anatomy class hardcore ever again. So we have that. We have the arm itself in shadow here. We're not going crazy again. We're just kind of splurging out general shapes. So the muscle there kind of pops it up there. And we'll have a darker shadow in the corner to signify the bump on the end. Little tiny fade here. So the divot in the arm. It actually kind of runs up a little bit. No, wrong. Wrong way. Runs up this way a little bit. We have our ambient occlusion from here, and a little bit there. We have some all around the edges here. The actual shadow from the arm right there. Again, light source is going to have some issues there, so we're going to elongate that shadow a bit. Okay, that ambient occlusion there needs to be a little darker. Now here we have the back side of the hand that's going to be a little lit. There, we definitely have a little bump there because you have the pitch on the wrist, the where the ulna and the what's it called, the other bone, the radius and the ulna, all that, they come together. There's a little pinch. Pinch going all the way up the arm.
Fuck it.
Fuck it. Little ambient occlusion here. Okay, so we got this goodness. Let's shrink us down a bit. We can do some more detailed work here. This whole side of the hand needs to be that way, bends in for the knuckle. Now there's going to be a caveat here because I do have the glowing bits, but that's, again, when we get everything done, I'm going to worry about that because that's going to be a light source. It's actually going to require some oomph. I actually don't know what way I'm going to have to do that. I would say something like a screen layer, but we shall see. Okay, so let's go wider again. The general backside of the hand.
If you taste like shit, the other four guys don't mind a bit, and these randy bandies are so demanding.
Okay, that's good. Make that look a little rounded. It's gonna need some more shadow on that side, but not much. Thumb definitely gets a hard shadow here and blends. Furry and proud. I'm totally fat happy. Guys, wait.
KFC, more like JFC. I wanna try something new to me. In with excitement, out with scoff. This disappointment can fun right off. It might be fun, but I'll never shack. If I die before then, I'll have a heart attack. If there's never a first time, then how can I come back? Oh, you're 23 years old now. Stick with what you know.
Okay, that looks like a decent hand. So, what else do we have here? You got weirdness this is all mostly lit. What I kind of need to do is get a big brush and do this. There we go. Again, very rough abs, not even really giving a damn. Just showing kind of an unevenness. Let's do us a tail. Okay, what's going on? I'm gonna go nuts if I don't get something to drink. I have a bottle of water right over here. I'll be right back. Yeah. It's a Hydra Pack! It's a soft water bottle. Made of TPU for that extra plasticky taste. Although I filter the shit out of this water. That's exactly what I needed. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, we got big old brush. Am I still? Yeah, I'm still locked. Good. So, far side gets a shadow. That we blend out. We're gonna go way darker on that side. Nope, I liked it like that. Let's do that. So we show a little bit of a dip here, but not too bad, and then we show this. Just went hardcore on me here. Bad apple. Okay. See how easy a tail is? I say that tails are notoriously hard to do properly for certain animals, but for otters, I lucked out there, boyos. Are you gonna draw? There we go. Because it's entirely rounded, we're going to blend that whole tail tip. We need to kind of blend the bottom of this. Not like that. What is this button doing? Soft proofing. Okay, that's a button that shouldn't be doing that. That's standard redo. Okay, so that's pretty good. I like it. Ah, come on, I need control again. Come on. Did I crash? I might have crashed. Yep, I crashed. Let's see if autosave plays well. Well, it's supposed to actually recover from that, but... There we go. So where are we? We lost our tail. Hands are done, so we lost the tail section. We can work with that. We can make this work. Okay, so we got that big guy there. Let's do our color pick. We kind of need to go here and here, I believe. Gotcha. It's still multiply. That's still really saturated. We need it like there.
Do I have a console or gaming PC? I have all the consoles and a gaming PC and a capture card I actually need to mess with because the driver just broke again. Thank you, Windows.
Perfect. I like that right there. That's super awesome. Okay, let's go wide again, and we'll do our back end just to make it look rounded. Okay. So let's make sure I actually save things. Oh, that's save as. Where's my... Oh, well that was an autosave, so it's going to make me save on top of it. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, this is the wolf. This is a fun song.
See, oh, I lost a little bit of the body definition. That's fine. Okay, so we have that. We need to shrink it down, do some ambient occlusion here.
These types of weird wet blending brush, I'm holding it like it's a damn brush. These weird blending brushes, I am insanely easy at going when it comes to smudging with them. Most people suck at it. I don't know why. Most people have to like, I need textures and all that. Give me a round brush. Just a round brush that has the ability to change how much color it has by picking up the layer below it. That's becoming a standard feature in most programs. That solves all problems. Keep in mind though that I used to do concept art sketches and stuff like that, where you generally use block brushes anyway. Hey! I don't think I've heard this. I like it. It's a studio version. That's pretty cool. So, we got all of this good stuff. Let's put some harder shadows here. You could do things like put little tiny hard strokes for the ribs. I just never get into that detail for something cartoonish. Okay. Found my Xbox account. Yeah, most of my stuff is named same as my channel name here. Okay, that's looking pretty good. There and there. Should maybe expand the brush a bit. So drop it a bit. That doesn't actually need to be there, but I'm accentuating. And here we'll go a little smaller. Oh, just didn't get that right at all. Need to build it. Okay. There we go. Looks a lot more appropriate that way. So we're gonna have our, well, we can't really see a dark shadow there, but that's fine. And then we already kind of have our dark here. We're gonna just darken that a little more. Blend it down. Get a slightly larger one so I can put some curvature. Okay. Ha! So that's a bunch of shadows. Oh, I took my watch off. We're at 10:30. Okay, we're doing good. So, we now should move up to the face. Oh, did I lose it? There we go.
Again, I'm just gonna erase all that.
Y'all make the connection, going viral like a damn infection. Picking up traction, check the inflection. Woo woo woo, it's the health inspection. Yeah, I heard you was sick. Check out my next trick. I'ma take what I know about the man. Hang a 5-2 up on your TV set. I'm the ultimate broski from the LI I was sent. Hey, I've been to hell and back, cause I was so hell-bent.
Yes, if you have Ark on your PC, you can play as an otter. I just figured this out the other day. You know what's even better than that? Playing Ark in VR. Oh man.
One chance, you wanna show off, come on and show it. I won't miss this, I won't blow it. Woo, 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 you know it.
Looks kind of shitty until you get the rest of it. Let's get the rest of it.
It's time to mark out. I ain't Henry, but there ain't no doubt. I'm a screaming shout to my lungs get sore. When we're going on raw, yeah, we're going in raw. I'm looking like a heel, but it's just the boot. Got me jumping all night, yeah, I'm bad to shoot. Always in the fade 5, I make the list move. Can't fade running wild, I collect the loot. Yeah, money in the bank. I step up for this money, I don't know who to thank. Who wanna swear on stage? I got this in the bag. You check the hashtag. You can never hold this swag. You can never be this styling, yeah. You can never catch my flow. I hit a whole crowd admiring. Check my status. Are you serious?
PSVR is really nice. I have you're in the stream but you can't see or hear it on Mixer. See if I can get there from here. You know, Mixer is being weird. That's a good catch. Yeah, Mixer's being weird. I could try restarting the stream. That probably would fix it. Okay, I'm gonna restart the stream real quick and just go off and on. It might have to rebuffer, but that'll be like 30 seconds. Okay. That's coming back up. Okay, it says that Mixer is back up and running. Check that. I know that we're gonna do maintenance on Mixer today. I didn't think it was gonna be now. It's usually pretty late. Odd, yeah, it's not actually going through. Okay, maybe the ingest server is being worked on right now.
won't take many more. Just one at a time. You've got your axe in hand, everything's gonna be fine in the end. Oh, so she presents. Oh, spooky, I've got a bone to pick with you, and I'm done with your little game. I open the last door, don't know what's in store. Encounter was so unforeseen. Everything I thought spooky wasn't quite what it seemed. The evidence I came across gave me just the thing to understand more of spooky and her sad upbringing. Lost and so lonely and so misunderstood. Turns out the thing she loved most to do had done her.
That's a tricky shadow right there because you got the curve of the eye.
Okay, so we got that. That's good. Gonna increase this a bit. Got the dip in the eye, like the bridge of the nose meets the eye socket, needs a tiny shadow. We're gonna leave that. That looks decent. That's too hardcore. Yeah, I think I kind of want to keep that general. Okay, that's looking decent. Got the jaw. The cheek, kinda, and then you got the actual rest of the cheek. Means you need to have that built up. Gotta keep it super smooth though. Ink that a bit. This song makes me really want some caffeine. This is some, what is this, Ruby?
The band that does all that. I'm not sure if that actually is something from Ruby, though. Yeah, it is from Ruby. So this super light hair doesn't look so light anymore, does it? That's the point. It's the point! It's supposed to be silvery, but that's a little hard to do without putting highlights in. And again, I may or may not actually come around to doing highlights. We can put some general shadow lines following the whole way through. And that just kind of makes it look like there's some texture in the hair. Hey, it looks good. Okay. I can hear my gloves! Okay, so we can do, hello, there we are. It's dangerous to go alone.
Hold on a minute, Link. Hey, what's up, old man? I see that you're embarking on another epic quest. You're gonna use your ocarina to rescue the princess, but you'll need a magic weapon that'll never ever miss. It's dangerous to go alone. Take this.
Oh, thanks, old man. That is really very nice. I can always count on you for help and friendly advice. Though I've never seen a sword of quite that shape or size. Oh God, that's not a sword. It's your dick in disguise.
What the hell is this song? No, not normal. I need a multiply layer. There we go. What the hell?
That was weird, but whatever. There is no time to lose.
I can't work this zoomed out or it's gonna freak out.
I'm a Liberty City. This place looks just like Philadelphia, but even more shit. I'm at the corner of Dead Cotton Prostitute Junction. Something in my ocarina must have gone
Okay.
malfunction. I gotta fix it quickly. There is justice to do.
Hold on a minute.
Cool, so let's grab our color.
Just a sword in your whip.
Now,
Dangerous to go
our complete flip would end up being here. It would be the green, yellow-green, that chartreusey area. But again, we want everything to kind of match the opposite. We're gonna have warm lighting, so cooler shadows tend to make sense, unless it's on the character, because they have warm colors and warm fur. So we're gonna go more towards the green end of things and darken it. And that looks like a proper shadow.
Oh my God! I gotta warp out of here. Princess Zelda awaits. I must defeat Ganondorf before it gets too late. Okay, now I really don't know where I am.
Hold on a minute, Link.
God damn it, old man!
You're in Raccoon City. It's a zombie abyss. It's dangerous to go alone. Take
No! Fuck you! Stop touching your wit! Stop the chilled out crew!
Stop the chill out crew!
You're telling me you got a wee weapon? It's not cool. I'm not gonna touch it. I'm not gonna. No!
is that a no on the hand job or? Okay.
What the hell is this song? I love that shit. That was perfect. No! I just rest my hand on top of this in all of its buttons. Okay, that probably just screwed things. Let's start with a general shadow, more ambient occlusion than anything else, but it's a general shadow. So we have a little bit of Adrian. How you doing, buddy? And we can go here. So like this, the light's going to be shining on the top end of it, so actually the shadows come this way as well. Going to be kind of bright here, but not necessarily on the borders of this. Definitely not that side. Okay, not bad. We'll give it a slight oomph on the edges to make it look rounded, even though that's not really physically accurate. I guess it kind of is. The lamp would be shining on it and it would cascade off both ends. Okay. Ah! So we got that. This is supposed to be really, really light, so I don't need to put any crazy shadows, but I'm going to come back and do some tougher shadows anyway. More than anything else, this here is going to have to be more blocky, but that's fine. We're going to have this end being mostly shadowed. Go smaller. We can do a little fill gap here. The light's not quite reaching because the other pillow's in the way. Hell no. The waves in pillows are just really easy to do by just putting different angles of just lines like that. Big wide swatches. Now we can double down on our shadows here. Blend them in. And that means now we can come back and do our rough shadows here.
Make it bigger, and we can blend with the bigger brush.
Writing hearts in the steamy pains. I can't pretend that I cared about those names. It's a goddamn shame that I flew too close to the sun. Writing every dumb cliche. Sporty, naughty, it's okay. 'Cause moving forward, still moving on. Yeah, this time.
Okay, we have our slight edge here. Definitely have this a little darker than it should be, but we're fine. Again, this is where you can make the brush bigger and blend it. Not in that direction.
We're merry men of Skyrim, so sturdy and so stout. When the day is done, when it's time for fun, we'll drink and sing and shout. You weak-livered milk drinkers can let your throats run dry. 'Cause it's just one
Okay, let's get the more exact hards.
we die, drinking mead in the halls of Whiterun. The maidens and the men, we swig our brew until we spew, then we fill our mugs again. You can keep your filthy skooma, it makes our bellies bleed. 'Cause when we raise our flagon to another dead dragon, there is just one drink we need, Nordmead.
Nordmead! Okay, so we can make this bigger and blend it a little bit around the edges here. More ambient occlusion. Also, his head's depressing the pillow, so I guess I really should be putting a hard shadow there anyway.
Hunting and of war, our throats are tired and thirsty, and our bodies drenched in gore. But we won't waste our evenings feeling tired and feeling spent. We perk right up
There.
when we breathe in that whole
That's a pillow!
That's Cyrodiilic brandy, too fruity for these tongues. You can keep your fancy Alto wine, it tastes like Harker dung. Balmora Blue tastes great to you, but here we like it plain. Just fill my mug with a mighty jug of honey.
There we go.
Martin Grey, drinking mead in the halls of Whiterun.
Some nice pillows. They look kind of satiny, but that's fine. If I had a textured brush, I could probably make that work a little better, but I'm not currently on textured brushes.
Flagon to another dead dragon, there is just one drink we need, Nordmead.
Da-da-da-da. Okay, so where am I here? We are, I don't even have a damn clock on me. We are coming up on 11, so I really should, I should slow down because of that. So, the really hard stuff is that. The rest, the sheets and all that stuff, that's really, really simple shadowing. When I get done the base shadowing for the entire scene, I can put my overlay, which will be a colored overlay, mind you. So it won't just darken the scene, it'll actually colorize it to be nighttime-ish, to be bluer. I'll put another overlay of some kind to represent the light itself, kind of bleeding in. Or I might paint that, actually. And then I'll start doing highlights. Anywhere where the light is directly touching really should have a highlight, but this is really bright considering. What it should look like is a little more like... See if I can make a similar layer. I don't really want to just gamma darken. I might just do a straight. So first, let me actually save this so I don't screw things up. What do we have? We have... There is a gradient tool. I just don't remember. Is it this guy? Yeah, there's our gradients. So, what we end up doing with this is we do... typically at nighttime you get kind of this light-ish blue. But we can put a... How do I do it? I think it's under Tool Options. Yes. So, Shape. What do we have? Bilinear is probably what we want. Don't know which way it goes. It goes that way. Okay. Gotcha. So, we would end up having a layer that does... I think color dodge might actually be what we want. No, not dodge, it's dodging's brightening. I need a... It wouldn't be darkened. I'm trying to remember which layer type it is. I think it was the grain. I think that's the one that actually was the good one. For now, we're gonna do, what darkening layers do we have? We have burning. A burn layer is not a bad one. Is it color burning, though? Oh, it is color burning. So, we have a general color burn here. And then we put a secondary one. I need my colors again. That's darker. It's slightly more towards indigo. Actually, it probably should be indigo. And then that one would have to be a... not bilinear. I think radial would probably be the better option here. Okay, maybe not as strong. But you see, when I start making the entire scene darker, the shadows get exponentially darker, and that's actually exactly what we want, because then it looks like we have a discrete light source over by the, well, we don't actually have it drawn in yet, but we have more of a discrete light source and harder shadows, and those shadows really pop. They go from really odd contrast to effectively everything that was super bright is now darkened ever so slightly, and everything that was dark is way, way darkened. So you end up getting these much more pronounced shadows. Now, keep in mind, I need to actually make the entire thing darker, because like the areas that are still highlighted are still looking kind of weird, like skeleton-ish. But you tweak it with multiple layers. Now, I think we could try different layers and see. See, multiply is not going to be right. Overlay is, yeah, that's a brightening overlay. It's actually different than most others. Our basic screen is a brightener, that's true. Hey, just luminosity. That's a fun one. Linear burn, that's not a bad one. Linear burn is a one-on-one burn. So that's mathematically, it's a one-to-one mean average of the colors.
which I believe is exactly what I want when it comes to darkening. You got your gamma darkening, which only changes the gamma, the multiplier of the colors, which if you notice, kind of gives everything this, especially the bed. You notice the bed is lit a little more towards the center, but it's actually changing its overall saturation of color. So towards the edges here, it has more saturation. That's a really fun type to use. So Gamma Dark does not exist on anything else as far as I know, except for the GIMP, which this is based off of. That's a really, really good one. Darker Color is an interesting one. I've never found a really good use for it. Let's see if I can find the one I'm thinking of. Divide! That's basically the most useless one ever. Is that it? Inverse subtract? You take one and you subtract it from the other, which if you're changing the overall color of the scene, if it's the one I'm thinking of, then that's right. In fact, that is kind of what I want. I think that is the one I'm thinking of, inverse subtract. Because hard subtract, if you notice, it's actually taking the layer on the bottom and subtracting from it, where you actually want to go the other way. You subtract from the scene. I don't know if this makes any sense. It's all mathematical. Whew. So all of these here, the hue, saturation, and lightness, for example, it takes the red, green, and blue channels of your layer and maps them as black and white, effectively, as on and off gates for the hue, saturation, and brightness. So if you want to change the hue by painting it, you can, and then change the saturation by painting it. Cool, totally can. But see, that was a very blue scene, so all it's doing is changing the saturation, because it's red, green, blue, no, it's lightness, so it's changing the lightness. Those are unique to Crytek. I've never seen anything else use those, and they're insanely useful if you delve into them. But it's more for very fine color corrections. If you're doing lifelike painting, absolutely, that's an amazing tool to have. I know professional artists that use Photoshop day in, day out that load Krita just to use those tools. Bump map! Makes no sense. Hey, normal mapping. That's fun. Copy layer, that's a very strange layer type. There we go. Copy blue, copy green, copy red. If you ever want to make a chroma shift where you have red, green, and blue, and you want to separate the red and the green from each other, or the red and the blue from each other, that is the way to do it. So what this layer does, it separates only one color, which means you can make 3 duplicates of a layer, and then 3 of these modification layers, one for red, one for green, one for blue. And you can effectively then extract only one color by painting where you want to extract it, and then you can take that layer and the one that's under it, effectively, you can take the 2 layers and you can move them physically in the plane, and that's how you get that effect. This is, again, one of those things that you can try and do that with really weird filters, but to do it by painting, this is the only application that lets you do it. Dissolve is fun. Tangent normal map. Oh, strange. It's an Alanon. I don't know what an Alanon is. Behind? Behind? Oh, layer behind. I got you. You can use one layer to paint and reveal the layer behind. Are you wearing? Yeah, I'm wearing suspenders. I actually have my My ID badge for work. Hanging off of my suspenders.
My leather suspenders. Geometric mean, that's a good one if you're trying to change colors.
There we go. So grain merge, that's a good one for colorizing. Grain extract is a good one for decolorizing if you want to make like a sepia layer. And then hard mix is, there's uses for hard mix. You got the Photoshop version, which is like way, way hard. Hard overlay, there we go. So hard overlay is one of the good ones for gently casting light. So I have a darkened layer, but if you're trying to like cast like a glowing light over something, so my light itself, I'm gonna do that with, this is the layer to do. The layer type to do, the hard overlay. Parallel, I have no clue what that actually does. I'd have to experiment with that. Additive subtractive. Hey, that's actually warming the scene. Interesting. Arc is tangent. I'm guessing that's a negative color. Difference works different than other programs here. I forgot about that. Interesting. But I think I am actually correct in thinking what I was thinking. Close all these out. I think I am correct in thinking that it was linear burn that...
Wisdom, arcane art, martial prowess that will stop your heart, epic power, discipline,
There we go.
clear moves that always win.
But that inverse subtract is so nice. So I could go into further detail on like the sheets and all that, and I will. I'll do that tomorrow, actually. I'm not going to go into crazy detail because it's not necessary when you do stuff like this. It's supposed to be a flat surface with kind of the implication that there's divots and rustling. So I'm going to do that. The dresser is going to get a basic color. And so, same thing, it's going to have basic shadows and highlights on the wooden floor. The rug might take a little more effort, but I'm going to have to see effectively when I get done everything how the rug looks. Because currently the rug is just a flat color, and this is a flat color. Everything's a flat color over here, but when I put the lighting layer for the light itself, the table lamp, that's going to change how those interact, how they blend. So it's gonna be a little weird. But effectively, if you want to think of it this way, we have lights on, lights off. Daytime, nighttime. Or actually not even daytime, this is unlit, which is a very weird state. It's a state that you hear about in video games all the time. You can completely have an unlit level, where there are no lights, so everything is just 100% bright. But, very easy to do stuff like this. I'm going to leave it undone for now because we're probably gonna have to modify that layer a little bit. But if you look at the layer when I hover over it here, it's a little hard to see. There's a way to actually discreetly view a layer. I don't know. There's a way to do it. There's a way to preview just one layer by itself so you can modify it easier. I don't remember what that is. There's a key combination for it. I need to look it up. There's a whole huge list of combinations. And I have not set them yet. This is a fresh install of Krita, by the way. It's unmodified. I'm using tools out the box. The only thing that has been modified is my favorites list here, because I've been using the favorite brushes. That's the only thing that I modified, and that's just to make things a little bit easier.
Okay, so we're gonna do a deselect there and do a save because I like that layer. Cool. But yeah, so that's what we have to look forward to. Tomorrow I'm gonna do the shadows on all the simpler objects, the basic simple shadows on all the simpler objects. I'm gonna reapply my color modification layers and kind of get my light source set up. Why is the 3D printer in the corner? It's in the corner because I typically have something printing while I'm doing something, so you guys can actually see what I'm printing. I put it in that corner because I almost never go down into that corner because I, again, am left-handed when I draw. So if I go into that corner, I'll hit the start bar with the touch controls effectively. So it's an evil corner. It's a corner I should never touch on the screen. So I never touch there. So it's a spot I never put any artwork or anything. So it's a good spot for it. I can maybe enlarge it, which is easier said than done. Yeah, that's easier said than done. I'll make sure I do that though, so you can actually see it. But yeah, it's a preview of the actual print. That's alive what's on the print bed, which I can prove to you. I swear I can prove it. I can totally prove it. See? That way? I hope I don't break something. Yeah, I'm not breaking something. Yeah, it's totally live view. I was printing a small part, so it wasn't a very big deal. Let me grab it, actually. It's completely done now. Okay, so my other 3D printer, in order to partially pay for this one, I sold it to some people at work that actually wanted it. We have a purchasing department at work that they go through a lot of really weird things that cost a lot of money just because, and it's like, well, it's simple. Like the little things you put on phones so you can cradle them in your neck. Those are like $50, so you can 3D print that. That's something that you can save a lot of money on doing 3D printing. So they went, hey, we'll buy it off you. But one of these got broken in transit. They're gonna probably laugh at me because this one's blue, but the other one's gray. But what it is, let me get the focus right. Okay, so what this is, it looks a little weird. You put your printer on this, right? One of them broke, so you actually have, in this case, they have 6 of them. But it is a little springboard, and it expands outward by the way the design is. So you don't have to worry about it like unevenly wobbling or anything like that. It'll always wobble just down. No Mercy's back on. But yes, it's the way that it works, effectively, you slot the foot of the printer in here, and it absorbs some of the shock. Now, the reason that you would want to absorb shock on a printer is, in a lot of cases, just noise. Zooming in on my mouth. In a lot of cases, it's noise. So most of the sound of the printer is resonance going from the motors into your table and then bouncing back up the frame. And if you put something squishy in between, the resonance kind of cancels itself out. So you can cut down maybe 2/3 of the noise. Using rubber is pretty good, but using actual like spring mounts is way more effective. Rubber on the motors themselves, though, that's a good idea. The other thing that you get out of this is slightly better prints, and it's because if the printer gets a vibration in one side, right, the bed is separate from the frame that holds all the other parts, so the frame will get a vibration that pushes it out of alignment with the bed, and when that happens, the print head gets out of alignment with the bed, and you get a little wobble in your print.
that wobble can break parts. It can do all kinds of really weird things depending on the timing. And the way you get those wobbles is literally the printer is zigzagging to make a complex shape, and it's making vibrations. So usually the stuff that's zigzagging is the sensitive stuff, so you end up having more failures than you want, all that. By putting these on all the corners and having the same tension on all of these, effectively the entire printer as a complete unit rotates, which means that, yeah, you're getting vibration, but nothing's coming out of alignment because it's all moving at the same time in the same direction. So you're damping, is the actual term. You're damping everything so that it all vibrates not to the detriment of the print. You'll get sometimes big accumulations where you get like large wobbles, but that's really, really, really hard to make happen. I kind of like it though. I like doing this kind of thing. I actually have some on my current printer. Again, I have a monitor in the way. If I need to get a quick release so I can actually show you guys some of the things I'm talking about. Actually, I'll order that on Amazon immediately when I get done the stream. But I would show you. I have custom ones I made for my new printer as well. That are heavier duty too. And I made them so that they could slot into each other and snap and become four-way. So like a plus shape, effectively, instead of just a single bar. And the reasoning behind that is I have a pretty heavy printer now. I don't need to worry about it, but yes, when I had a very, very heavy printer before, these weren't enough, and thus I had to use 6 of them instead of 4. I printed the ones on my current printer really, really thick though, so they don't bend as much, it works in my benefit. But yeah, I originally planned, okay, maybe I need to actually double up on it so that it doesn't like break them, but no, it's totally fine. I'm very happy with it. Good 3D printer. How much was it? This was with features. This was about $1,000, and that's with a lot of upgrade features. The touch sensor to actually test the bed, that was a pretty hefty component. The nice nozzle and the better hot end, the better extruder, nice Bondtech dual gear planetary drive extruder, which is insanely nice. Oh, holy crap, that thing feeds TPU like I wouldn't even like have to worry about it ever. The soft, stretchy plastic, like what cell phone cases are made out of, TPU, or actually what this is made out of. So, I mean, TPU is flexible. That has all kinds of problems in a single gear extruder, especially on a Bowden tube. If you have a Bowden tube system like I do, oh, holy crap, no, that's not going to print. But you get a really nice constant pressure, no slip extruder, like the Bondtech's, the Bondtech XR, I think they call it. But yeah, when you get one of those, that's worth the money. That was a $150 upgrade. That plus the Bowden system, plus it's a lot of other stuff involved. Was it more expensive than it needed to be? Yes, but the printer is made with American parts in America, serviced in America with a 3-year warranty. So, worth it to me. I've never had to do anything where I claim a 3D printer, but when it comes to having custom installed parts, if I do it myself, I'm cool with that. But if someone else is putting parts on, I'm willing to pay a little extra if I know that they're going to warranty their work. And it's like no questions asked warranty too. MatterHackers does a really good job on their warranties. More than anything though, their printers, the Pulse printers, are actually amazingly good Prusa clones. And I say clones because it's not really a Prusa. It's not like taking a Prusa model and just making your own version. They actually made a custom frame and custom rod work, custom layout for the extruder head, for the actual print head. It is actually different enough that I'd say it's different. It's good. I'm just noticing that Scum, the game Scum, is going to have ray tracing. to get a 2080 Ti. Not quite yet. I like that this like turned into a playlist. There wasn't enough music for it to seed, so it came back on itself and is playing Deja Vu again. Thank you, Ace Lightning. I appreciate that. I am a wealth of, I say useless knowledge. When it comes to the 3D printer, that's accumulated experience. I've just done enough with my old printer. I drove that thing into the ground and had to replace every single component on my old Wanhao i3. I had to completely replace everything. The only thing that still remains is the frame. The frame and the carriage. Everything else has been replaced. And that's just because I used it until parts just could not hold up anymore. Even with lubrication, all the bars were losing the chrome coating. Or actually, I think it was nickel, but they were losing their plating. I had to replace linear bearings all the time, which, by the way, my new printer uses oiled solid state bearings. So it's plastic bearings that have, it's Teflon effectively, that's impregnated with oil. You never have to oil them. They will last, like, I'd say if you're constantly printing, they would last you 10 years. Like, you will never wear them down. Fun little things that you figure out. Again, partially why I like this, because even the Prusa doesn't use those. So this company, the Matter Hackers company, they knew what they were doing when they upgraded this unit. But I know all kinds of weird stuff. I am proud of knowing stuff that is just weird, but I have fun in learning the weird stuff. I spend a lot of time just like roaming intellectual websites and stuff, so I just pick up on a lot of stuff. And it's kind of one of my hobbies. What I used to do when I didn't do art and all like straight up as a hobby, I actually used to just take programs like Krita and just spend a day or two learning how to use it without any instructions, just by messing around and doing stuff. I could do that with any program. I learned like AutoCAD in one day. I've been doing that since I was in 10th grade. Since I was in, what is that? That's sophomore year? Yeah. Sophomore high school? But yeah, 10th grade, when I was, what, like 16 or something like that, I've been just opening up programs. Yarg, not paying for them, but for educational purposes entirely, so I consider that okay. Just learning them, and that's actually what made me want to get into art and all that. It wasn't necessarily the art, it was because I liked the programs that are available. They did weird, awesome, cool things. That used to be a hobby of mine, was legit just learning new programs. And oh man, that pulled right off. Nice clean print. This is Matter Hackers plastic, by the way, and it's really nice plastic. It's a little soft, but it prints really cleanly because of that. For PLA, it's pretty soft. I like it. But yeah, I am happy that I started streaming and have awesome friends now. Because I have no friends. The 7 Cs. Oh yes. I don't even know why it looped back. The playlist is supposed to be infinite. But yeah, I have fun doing stuff like this. So when I play games, it's generally that. But then, like, I don't like how Twitch kicks you off if you're in a channel and there's a lot of other people. And it goes, well, this is more popular. We're going to let them have bandwidth, and we're going to literally end your stream to make that happen. So I used to get cut off all the time and all kinds of weird things. Doing creative doesn't happen. Yeah, little weird things like that, but I used to have fun playing games. It was always just a party. So I'd be playing the game, but if the game had Twitch functionality, I'd turn it on. If it didn't, we'd make it. Hey, give me an objective. Get to the top of that mountain and jump off of it? Cool, I'll do it. Like, we come up with fun things to do as an audience. Everyone would come up with something, and we'd get together and do things. But that was always fun. I always had a lot of fun doing stuff like that. But I kind of like this too. Creative stuff is something where uniquely I get to just do something and people get to watch, and that is enough satisfaction in general. I mean, talking's nice. We get to talk and listen to fun music. Oh god, deja vu. Should I play it again? No. I wonder if I can make... I could definitely make a Eurobeat playlist. I know that. That is actually a genre on Spotify. But I wonder if I can make a... I wonder if I can make an initial D list. I can manually make one. I actually have enough songs I could probably import in. What are you doing? Don't climb on that! No, get off my speaker. Thank you. Ferrets. It's dangerous to go alone. Now where is that? That's not in the loop this time. Okay, maybe it did kind of run out of songs. Huh, I guess. But yes, let me turn this off. I'm going to... I have to actually go to bed. It's getting pretty late. It's 11:30. That's my general cutoff. And I have some dogs and all to take out. I'm taking care of some dogs for my parents. But yes. So I have this printed. So tomorrow I have a... There's a pangolin that I've been wanting to print. An articulated pangolin that I've been really wanting to print. It'll take a while to print. So tomorrow I will get that up and running. And I'll increase the size of the display so you can actually see what's printing. Let's see. Tomorrow we get to finish doing shadows, basic shadows, but we'll finish up some shadow work. We'll get our light source in. We'll do... I'm going to try and put... I'll put some general highlights, but I'm going to try and do more specific highlights that go over the actual fur and kind of make it look like fur. I'm going to see if I can do that. That's easier said than done. And then I'm going to come back and flatten a bunch of layers. I'll want to save out a different copy because of that, but I want to flatten out layers, like merge them all down and start painting discreetly. So I can put oh, I need to do line art. I actually need to colorize my line art. So general rule, I tend to make the external lines, the hard silhouette lines, not colored. And then the internal lines, all the, let's see. So like we have, you can't even see what I'm doing here. So we have like this. Can you see that? You can't see that. There we go. So we have like this is an internal line. You colorize that. So if you colorize all the internals, you can make them blend a little better. And then the externals, like this one I could technically blend because there's another colored object next to it, but like this over by the sheets, that's not part of the main subject. You take the main subject and leave it outlined in black. I find that tends to work well. If it's on its own sheet, you can even outline it with an additional halo of white or some other very light color, but you kind of give it a sticker effect. But I need to do that. That's real simple. I just take the line art itself, I make another copy of it, and then I paint on top of it. I just lock the transparency and paint on top. Our Little Horror Story by Aviators. Huh. So I'll do that real quick tomorrow. That'll be a super fast thing for me to do. It'll also take all these weird little areas here, and again you're not seeing that, that's weird, but all these weird areas where you're seeing the colors coming through because the line art is not technically solid. those areas will be filled in. Like, this looks very transparent right here, and that's because it is transparent. It specifically is about 20% transparent. Because it's a multiply layer and it's not quite black. It was about an 80% brightness. Or 80% darkness. There you go, yeah. So, I'm going to come back and double up on it, colorize all that. I'm going to finish my shadows. I'm going to add my light sources, and then I'm going to spend time trying to make those light sources have specific highlights and then blend the edges of things, like the different colors here. Oh god. The different... Seriously? Okay, the different colors here, I'm going to blend them with... I'm going to see if I can find something that rakes to make more of a fur texture going on. So I'm going to try and make it as best I can look like there's fur. And then... Then what else is there? Nothing really, that's about it. Best Zelda Rap 1 and 2. Yeah, Starbomb's now in my artist list. I had to add them because of that. That was pretty nice. Oh, that's right. I need to darken the nose on Adrian. It's so weird. I don't know why it's doing that. But yes, I'll come back and we'll finish this up tomorrow. We'll get all the shadows, all the basic toning, we'll darken the whole scene, we'll add our light source, etc. So everything I just said, I'm repeating myself at this point because I'm tired. We will get everything down. And of course, it's Five Nights at Freddy music, that's what that is. But we'll try and get everything set up so that we actually have a nice, decent painting. We will do more castings, more shadows, more cast shadow, more colorizing, more gamma changes, etc. Those are easy. Those are just gradients more than anything. I might have to tweak them with a little finesse. Some of them, like the gamma burn, is actually going to require a little finesse. I think I just crashed the program. The angle renderer is so fast and so nice, but it does have a tendency to crash when you are on 4K. Yep, it crashed, but that's fine because I saved. But yeah, so we'll come back, we'll finish that up, and I will post it to, I'll post the final work and maybe a sketch or two along the way that I do with the sketch layers still. And post them on SoFurry. And then I have to go through the workflow for the other sites, but I have a Weasel account and a Fur Affinity account. I'm not used to posting to those, so I'll just have to look and see how posting goes still, because they probably have changed it since I last posted. And I'll post all my stuff there. That'll be good. I have another story that's done, another chapter that's done, so I need to actually proofread that. And Sydney, if you're actually listening, I don't know if she's actually on, but if she's on, if you're on, then that'll be up for proofreading tomorrow. But that'll probably be done. I actually might spend, it's a good way of diverting my attention, so I might spend a bit of Friday actually working on that. I've always wanted to stream my writing, but I have no clue how that would work. But yes, so I want to get this done tomorrow. Right? What is today? Losing track of everything. Yes, today is Wednesday. Tomorrow is Thursday. So I want to get this done on Thursday. Friday, I am probably going to be more or less useless. Again, I can maybe do proofreading something. But yeah, we'll try and get this finished up. And I'll see if I can make my way through Friday. And I'll be probably a little happier after that. I tend to cheer up a lot faster now. And then, we're not going to have such ambitious works. Can't wait for the new chapter. Yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna have that. That's gonna be posted this weekend at the very least. Because I have to proofread it, and then I'm gonna pass it through Bailey. Bailey does a lot of proofreading with me. We share a lot of stuff. She's actually, her characters are actually in the story too, so it helps. It's only about 6,500 words, so it's not going to be that bad. I'm going to say more than likely, I actually might have that posted on Friday. That said, when I start streaming again, I think I've come to the conclusion that I like having my Sundays to myself, so I can just play random single-player games. I might stream gameplay again. If I do, then that's something to look forward to on Sunday. But I think I'm going to convert over. I'm going to do a lot of sketching. I'm going to just keep on sketching and try and get body shapes right. Try and develop my effective cartoony style. I want a more cartoony, more exaggerated style. And it's just going to take a lot of sketching, a lot of very basic sketching. I might do paint sketching too. I used to be able to paint sketch where you just don't even worry about line art. You block everything out in paint. But I think that's what I'm going to move on towards. I have no real big, ambitious projects. I want at some point to do character sheets for a couple of characters. And that's actually so I can get other people to do artwork, because you have to kind of have a character sheet to do justice to, at least to Carbon, oh god. There's some weird stuff going on there. But if I have a detail sheet, a character sheet, I can do that. What's my SoFurry? So it is Otter's Gonna Ot. You just go to ottersgonnaot.sofurry.com or sofurry.com/ottersgonnaot. Either one works. And you can find me there. I should be under the same headings on Fur Affinity, and actually I think my Weasel is still under Carbon Fiber Optic, but I'll change that if that's the case. I haven't touched my Weasel or Fur Affinity in a while, but I think I've updated the Fur Affinity one to be Otter's Gonna Ot. But we'll see, one way or another. Oh right, when I get done this, I'll post it to to monosodium glutamate, to E621. For people that don't know, that is monosodium glutamate. It's MSG. It's the international code, I believe. If it's not the international code, it's the ANSI code for that chemical. But yeah, I'll post it to that. I'll post it wherever I can post it effectively. And then I'll get back to sketching, and when I feel like it, my next project will probably be that, will be character sheets. Those are going to be flat color. I'm not going to shade those because specifically I want people to see details, surface details. So they won't be as involved, but that's going to be my next set. Carbon definitely needs to get done. One thing I don't mention much, because it's another one of those personal things, is I have people in my head. I don't know how to explain it. I'm not like crazy, not that kind of people in your head. It's my subliminal self, I believe. My psychiatrist believes anyway, manifesting itself. But in any case, that being, there's multiple beings, but the one that's predominant, that's been with me my entire life, my entire known life anyway, Evelyn, that's a character that I need to detail as well. I did not put her in this scene, just like I didn't put the tendrils and all, because my writing didn't exist at that point, and I wasn't really public about anybody knowing about Evelyn, about Eve. So I kind of wanted to stick within the time period there, because it is remembering that time period. But yeah. So it is 20 till. I actually need to get off. I will see you tomorrow. We will start back up where we left off, where we crashed. Thankfully, I save everything. I actually am recording my stream too, so if I hardcore crash and lose everything, I can load up my stream, pop a frame out, and draw on top of whatever I had. That's not fun, but I've learned that you really should do it. But yeah, we'll transition to sketching and games. Games are a nice thing. But yeah, that's what we'll do. So, fun tomorrow. Not so much fun on Friday. I might get on. I'm gonna try and push myself, but I mean, again, it's a very bad day for me. It's memorial of a very bad day, so I most likely will not be on. We'll figure it out. We'll figure out full schedule. I generally like to stream. I don't usually stream every day of the week, but I have been pushing to, because I've been pushing to sketch every day of the week, to draw, because that's how you improve. If you ever take a day off, you start getting into bad habits, and you start wanting more days off, and etc. But you really start improving a lot more when you work on your art every single day, even if it's just half an hour, right? If you work, you do better. So I'm going to stream more and more. I'm going to try and make it a very standard thing. 8 o'clock seems to be a good time to start. I may or may not go until 11 like I have been doing recently. But, I don't know, when I get into doing sketching and all that, I tend to just keep doing it. So I tend to do like 2 or 3 hours. So, it'll probably continue on. But yeah. I am blabbering on and keeping myself awake when I really shouldn't, and can't afford to because I actually have a meeting in the morning. But I will see you guys later. Guys, yes, multiple people, different places. I will see you later. Thank you for watching, Ace Lightning, especially. Thank you for following on multiple places too. That's awesome. But yeah, we'll get on. We'll do more of this tomorrow. Until then, have fun. Ooh.